we all know the products are great, so I was hooked. And what happened was, you guys all know of her success and what's kind of unfolded throughout her journey. And I watched that success literally unfold before my eyes. I see her every single day. And I remember that moment when we were in her basement and she's like, oh my gosh, I've been busting my butt and this is paying our mortgage. I can't believe it, and I remember all those milestones for her. And so as I watched it unfold, I knew that obviously it was more than just this little skincare side gig. And so that's what made me take a deeper look into the business, was that I saw her success and I knew that that might be something I didn't want to let pass me by. And so when I jumped into the business, you guys, it was so far out of my comfort zone. I can't even tell you. The next morning she called me and she's like, are you having buyer's remorse? And I said, yes, I totally am. What did I just do? I just bought my own business. And I'll tell you guys, so when I started, that was about, 5.5 years ago. I jumped on board. I was pretty excited for a few months. I was pretty coachable. I did my 2 launches and I got some good customers. And then I got in my head. All right. I let that white noise get in my head, because even when I jumped into this business, I didn't think it was for me. I didn't think I was a salesperson. I didn't think this business was right for me. I just didn't want the opportunity to pass me by. And so I let that white noise get the most of me. And for about 2 years in my business, after I had my little jump start, I did a whole lot of nothing. And I mean nothing. I'd be the girl on my couch, it's a day or two before month end and Jamie's messaging me like, all right, you got 200 to go to get to 600. Who's in your funnel? Who can I help with? Who can we get on the call? And I'd literally look at my phone, look at Sean and be like, shh, I'm running for that. It wasn't a priority to me at all. And so for 2 years, I would have weeks that went by where I didn't even think about the business, or I didn't even talk about it. It was that much of that low down on my totem pole as far as priorities were concerned. And what happened for me, and this is just, you guys, anyone who does a 3-way call for me, or you hear an opportunity call, you're not going to hear this whole shebang. This is just me being real with you guys. What happened for me was about 2 years and I tried to quit. And I tried to quit and I tried to quit numerous times, and Jamie, God love her, wouldn't let me. She was very persistent. And so I kept kind of hanging on, but again, I wasn't doing anything. I was probably getting, maybe if I was lucky with the customers I had, maybe a $200 check, but I was spending that on product. And about 3.5 years ago, little over 3.5 years ago, there was a huge training in Chicago. It was called Super Saturday. And what happened was, I was, again, trying to quit the business, and Jamie called me. She's like, all right, there's this huge training. You've got to come. It's going to be awesome. And I'm like, Jamie, I love you, girl, but an all-day Saturday training for a business that I'm pretty much checked out of. I'm like, I love you, but no thank you. And she kept calling. She'd come over with the kids. You're going, right? You're going. And I'm like, okay, sure I am. And finally, her persistency got to be so much that I'm like, all right, I will do this for you, is kind of my last ditch, attempt before I throw in the towel and call it a day. And so I went to this training with every intention of just being done after this. And I sat in basically a training with Sarah Robbins. And it was something that she said that literally changed everything for me in my business. And what that something was I sat in there, and she talked about obviously her success. And let's be real, she's the first consultant. Of course she's going to have huge success, right? So I didn't really think I was going to relate to her the way that I did, but it was something that she said. And it was that there was a girl that she had worked with at Nordstrom that she wanted to reach out to. And her name was Stacey Roney, or is. She's still around. Her name is Stacey Roney, and she's actually an RFX Circle achiever here in Chicago as well. I know her well. And Sarah didn't reach out to her because she said that she thought she was too busy and too successful. Stacey had 3 businesses, entrepreneurial businesses. She did very well. She had 3 kids. Uber successful. And she thought, this girl doesn't have time to be a part of this. So she passed on the opportunity to invite her to join the business or to even learn a little bit more about the business. And so the reason she told us this story is because Stacy ended up joining under someone else who obviously were all under Sarah in some which way or form. But this girl ended up joining down, I think, on her 6th level. So deep within her organization where she wasn't really, feeling the boom. Oops, sorry, another computer's turning my light off. She wasn't feeling the boom of what kind of happened with her business. And in that year, when I sat there, Stacy was named the #1 recruiter in the entire company. She recruited, don't quote me on the exact number, but somewhere around the realm of 70 consultants in that 1 year. 70. So think about that. And so my takeaway was, okay, she's telling me not to discount anyone in my network because this can be for anyone. And for me, I was discounting everyone because I didn't think it was for me. So I figured it sure as heck isn't for anybody else. And so I sat there and my wheels were turning and I had my, list of paper and I'm writing down names like crazy. And Jamie's literally, her face is like lighting on fire because she can tell that I finally got the bug. And I made this huge laundry list because what I realized is that between my husband and I, we know a ton of people, a lot of people. And so I thought, all right, if I'm discounting everyone in my network, someone else is going to go out there and they're going to build my networks. This is going to be built, and it's either going to be built by me or it's going to be built by someone else. And again, I'm going to have one of those huge regret situations. And so I actually went out to dinner with Sean after that when we left, and I'll never forget. It was like one of those weird aha moments where I grab my Prosecco and slam my hand on the table, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm really doing it. Hold me accountable, please. I am all in from this point forward. And I can tell you guys just with 100% honesty, I have not stopped since that day, since I left that training. And so I left with this renewed and just this, or not even renewed, just this new sense of belief for what this business is, for what this business can do, and for what it was going to do for our family. And so I always love to talk about belief and what that means, because I wholeheartedly believe, you guys, that you have to believe in this opportunity to your core in order for it to change your life. You have to believe in the business model, because for me, I didn't. I still was like, and no offense to anyone that's ever tried Mary Kay, but in my mind, I was the Mary Kay girl, and I had a problem with that. And so, it was just getting out of my head and believing in what this was going to be for our family. And I'll tell you guys, and I'm sorry if this is repetitive. You might have already heard this on a training call. I'm just sharing this just for anyone that maybe hasn't heard. But there's a few just very simple, easy things that I changed in my business. And really it was all about having confidence, because I didn't have that when I was sharing it, being excited and passionate when you're sharing it with people, treating it like a business. You guys, if you're in this mode right now where you're treating this like a hobby, I guarantee you it is only going to pay you like a hobby. So you need to be all in. You need to set hours of operations, especially, it's hard, but right now we're in the summer. So for me, I'm very much so working on a schedule. Every Tuesday, Thursday, I have a sitter. That's where I try to crank out my calls. I set aside certain nights where I can do a few calls like we're doing here and there. I'm very specific as far as my hours of operation goes, so that I can make sure that I have enough time to give what I need to give to my business and to the team to continue to help things move forward. And so really making it a priority, being consistent in your activity. And when you're doing that activity, make sure it's productive activity. It's not just scrolling through Facebook. We all love Facebook, but scrolling through the team pages, sitting there and thinking of ideas to post, it's not productive activity. You want to be getting out there. You want to be reaching out. You want to be sharing what this is and not scared to do that. And when you are sharing with people, own what this is. Own what it's going to be for you if it hasn't gotten to that point yet. Own what it's going to do for your family. People, they're attracted to that confidence. Okay. So let them know, hey, I'm just getting started if that's your situation, but I've watched a whole lot of people that I know and I respect have some incredible success with this business, and I will not stop until I do the same. So really own that. If you've already had the success, don't be scared to share that with people. Share what this has done. If this is your car payment, share that. If it's a mortgage payment, share that. If it's something that, has given your family financial freedom, or if it's a way for you to be home with your babies, if it's an excuse for you to go have some wine at night, with your girlfriends, whatever it may be, don't be scared to share that, because so many people have something in their life that they're missing and that void that they want to fill. And I'm finding, obviously, and I'm sure you guys are as well, that this business can be that answer. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell, I guess a long-winded nutshell. But really, I just really like to drive home that belief factor, you guys. For anyone that's on the line who's been in the business and, is just having a hard time getting that motivation to run and move forward, know that it's never too late to make that decision, whether you're a few years in, whether you're 2 days in, whatever it may be. Just own what you want this to be and run with it. So with that said, I'm going to throw it back to Jenny, because I think we're going to do a little bit of interview, like Q&A or whatever you need. I'm here. I'm an open book.
Don't be nervous.
Oh, too bad there's not.
I could figure out what I'm going to ask you, because you pretty much nailed everything that I had on my list here. But I think one of the concerns I hear from people a lot is, getting people on three-way calls. I know three-way calls are really important to our business. And I even did an incentive this past week, based around three-way calls, because I just really want to get people doing them. And what I'm hearing is that it's just I don't know, the second that, they mention that, hey, I'm going to get my sponsor on the line, or I'm going to get my friend to jump on and tell you her story, it's like crickets, people just bolt. So we're wondering if there's any advice on how to, present the three-way call a little, and we try not to say three-way call, but then we don't want to not be, direct, because it's get them on the phone and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, can I get my friend, we don't like that approach either. So we're wondering if there's any, tricks, I guess, to getting people to not go, into the witness protection program when
Sure.
that. Or maybe you think
they do go into that program.
Yeah. And it's almost that's the thing. It's I like to get people on an initial call almost to just kind of break the ice with them. And then sometimes I'll, get them to agree to talking to Angela or someone else on my team as a closing type of call. That can work well. But then, if you're new, you're worried because you get on that call, you don't know what to say. So that's kind of my first question. And I know it's important because it duplicates and it's on the job training and,
Yes, totally. Okay. I will say this first of all, when I look at my team and the different legs, the teams that I see a direct correlation in growth to the amount of three-way calls that people are doing. I'm telling you guys, we are all busy. We all have either a day job or kids or whatever. We've got busy schedules. I personally am not a meet face-to-face, sit down and go through things, because I just don't have, life is crazy. And so three-way calls are the most efficient way to build fast on our tight timelines, okay? They're hugely powerful and a really incredible thing to leverage. So if you're not doing them, I promise you it will move your business forward that much faster. As far as getting people on them, I think the biggest thing is it's all in your approach, okay? It's all in your verbiage. You can explain it in ways that are a little bit scary, or you can explain it in a non-threatening way, and that's obviously the goal that we want to go for. So like you said, there's two types of three-way calls. There's the training three-way call, which basically is for people that are new. So let's say you've got a newbie and they're starting out, you're a month in, maybe a month and a half in. I'd say that's kind of the span of that. Maybe 2 months max. I never let these types of calls go back past 2 months, I wouldn't say. And that's more of the training three-way call. That's where you're learning, or your new team members are learning. You're just trying to get them up and running. Maybe they don't feel comfortable explaining the whole BPPO and what we're all about. And so you'll get people on a call to learn about the business, and in turn that's either helping you if you're new or you're a newbie to learn the verbiage, learn how we explain what we're all about. So there's that kind of three-way call. And then there's a three-way call that's like you said, Jenny, it's a closing call. The majority of my days are these closing calls.
Hey everybody, make sure to I think mute Terry, I think, and if you can mute your line. Thank you. All right, sorry.
No worries. Sorry, I'm in my office and I couldn't get my Zoom on my big computer to work, so the lighting, anyways, my computer keeps going off. It's making it dark. Anyways, so then there's the closing calls, and the closing calls are the most effective way to pop people through your funnel. And the way these work, if you've been in the business for, I would say, a month or two, by that point, you're getting to where you should be through all your training. You should be plugging into opportunity calls, things like that. You should be a little bit more comfortable in sharing what this is. There's no shame in having a cheat sheet. So if you're new and you're trying to explain the BPPO, there's no shame in doing that whatsoever. But I will tell you, people love to hear it from you. So if your girlfriend comes to you, she wants to hear a little bit more, you've been in it for a little while, don't go straight to your upline and ask them to do a three-way call and them explain everything, because it will sound more genuine, I think, to get that initial introduction from you. And then after the fact, you can utilize the three-way call as that closing call to pop them through the funnel. And so some examples of just verbiage on how I would do it for a training three-way call. What I would do when you're doing those initial reach outs or encouraging them to do those initial reach outs, I would just say, hey, so excited to fill you in a little bit more on what I'm doing. Being honest, I'm just getting started. I'm still learning the lingo. I'm still in my training, but my girlfriend Jenny, who brought me on, has such an incredible story, and she's the one who took me through everything. So if you'd be up for it, I'd love to connect you with her. We can all hop on the phone. She can explain all the details to you, and also you're doing me a huge favor because this actually helps with my training. It helps me learn how we share the opportunity. And so you let them know, hey, I'm bringing my girlfriend in because I want you to get all the information like I got. But also you're doing me a huge favor in helping me, move forward in my business and helping me to get the proper training that I need. And so more often than not, people are willing to do that because you're explaining to them why you're bringing this other person in. You're not calling it a three-way call. Don't ever call it a three-way call, although that's what it is. That is a very, very scary thing to a lot of people because a lot of direct sales companies do the three-way call, but there's a lot of people that do it in kind of an icky way that has given people a bad taste in their mouth. And so just say you're connecting them with your girlfriend. I wouldn't even use the word sponsor because I feel like it makes it sound more sterile. Girlfriend or business partner even just sounds, in my mind, a little nicer, a little less scary. So that's how I would kind of introduce the training call. If it's a closing call, which these are the ones we really want to move forward to because these are the ones that make things happen, then you're always going to just reach out to them. It's an excuse, to touch base and follow up with people. And what you're going to say is just, hey, I know you've been so-and-so. I know you've been keeping this business in the back of your mind. The next step is I'd love to connect you with my girlfriend that got me started. She's been doing this for a little bit longer. She's had some great success. And I think her story could be really helpful in determining whether or not this might be a good fit for you. Plus, I know she'd love to help to answer any last questions that you might have. And so you do it in a very non-stressful way. It's just that next step. So I always use 2 points of verbiage that I always use. The step is, if you've been talking to them about the business, if they're interested, you want them to be ready to take that next step. So the next step is, and then I always use that verbiage, I know you've been keeping this in the back of your mind, okay? Because they have. You've talked about it. You're referencing back the fact that they told you they had an interest. So you're, oh, hey there. So they're okay. You're so cute. This is
advantage here of your advice and my posting.
Oh, you're so cute. Yeah, go girl. I love it. Anyway, so you're going to do that and, let them know. I always, again, use the verbiage of this will help you in figuring out whether or not this is a good fit for you or whether or not this fits into your life, because that shows people this is not a pressure thing. This is just our next step to help you figure out whether this is something you want to move forward with or not. And for anyone that hasn't done a three-way call, you guys, I can tell you, obviously, like I said before, they're hugely powerful, but also that extra perspective is really important for people. I can tell you, we all love our people. You know, I love Jamie, and I love, you know, all that she's done and she did to share the business with me, but it really helped to get on that three-way call with Romy before I came on. Even my girls, you know, that are direct to me, I know they love me and respect my opinion, but it helps to hear that other story. You never know when someone else's story might pertain to them a little bit more, or one little thing that somebody else says might be that thing that just pushes them and it makes it click. Plus, you guys, especially if you're a little bit, you know, newer in the business, sometimes there's things that are just hard to say. You know, sometimes you want to ask those tough questions, and that's something where your upline or your sponsor or whoever, you know, your girlfriend, whoever brought you in that you'd be doing the three-way call with, that's something where you could pass the torch and say, hey, I know they're having concerns about you know, the financial aspect or whatever it may be. Would you mind? And you could even say, you know, I've touched base with them about this, but I think they might need to hear it from another person, you know, hear that extra perspective. So always give your upline that heads up of what their concerns are so that we can go into the call prepared. Because for me, I know that when I listen to them, the prospect, tell me about themselves, I listen with my ears as wide open as I can, because I take a whole bunch of cues off of what they said and I tailor my story to it. I don't change my story in the sense of who I am, but if they're not a mommy, and a lot of my stories about being a stay-at-home mommy, I downplay that. And I talk about, you know, other things that I want this to be for us, or that it's become for us. So you kind of work off their cues, and then as I'm telling my story, I reference their story a lot within it. So I kind of try and tie the two of them together. And that just makes them feel like, all right, I'm getting this really great perspective from someone that's listening to what I have to say. And I think it can be really good. The other thing about three-way calls, you guys, and sorry, I tend to ramble. Should have warned you. The other thing about three-way calls that I want to tell you guys is if somebody comes in on a three-way call, like Jenny did, for example, me, her, and Angela did a three-way call when she came in. She understood immediately when her business started the power of them. Okay? So no matter what, you always want to bring people in on a three-way call, because they're in turn going to do these calls as well. And they're going to duplicate that down. We're talking about smart duplication. If you bring them in, then they're going to bring people in on a three-way call, and so on and so forth. So it's super important to do that. What else was I going to say about that? Something.
I had a question, just
yeah.
Duplication kind of. So now what you're saying is like, it's okay to get them on the phone and kind of do that beginning part and then invite them kind of for a closing call. Like that's okay. Or if they don't do that, they maybe sign up on the first call, say they buy a kit. Does the three-way training, like maybe they're 2 days or a month in and you do like a critical triangle, you know, with your upline, does that kind of count as a three-way call? I mean, as far as duplicating go, because that kind of happens a lot on my team too. And I know, you know, it would be ideal to get them on that call before they actually enroll, but like, I don't know. I mean, is it worst case scenario, they enroll, like, do you definitely advise getting them on with the upline, you know, to do like a training?
Yes, I do. Not necessarily for, like, let's say you brought someone on. I can say that you need to get that person on with Angela and do the whole BPPO.
Right.
But I do think I will give you guys an example. Yes, I will give you an example. Allie Spitzbergen, who's in RFX Circle, she's amazing, who's in our organization. I still do three-way calls with her all the time.
Okay.
Come to me and be like, hey, I got this girl. Like my three-way calls with her are never longer than 15 minutes. They are fast, they're quick. And she's like, hey, I've got a girl. She's ready to go. She's on a platter. Like, you know, she's like, can you just, I just want to introduce her to you. I want her to hear your story and then you can answer any questions, but she's good to go. And so what she'll do is she'll actually set up a three-way call with me. We'll do the three-way call, and then after I'll hop off and they'll start the enrollment process.
Okay.
So it's just showing them ahead of time. They don't have to be this big, long, drawn-out thing. I mean, an effective three-way call can be done in 15 to 20 minutes. So it doesn't have to be like a whole hour-long thing by any means. So definitely, you guys, if you're not utilizing them, make sure you do. Don't be scared. If you guys, if you're hesitant and you've never been on one, maybe reach out to your upline and say, hey, if you've got a three-way call going on in the next week or something, I'd love to be that fourth person on the line that just mutes themselves so I can hear how it goes, what it looks like. Because maybe just being that fly on the wall will show you, how it's not that scary. And if you haven't checked it out already, on my team page, I posted a video, it was like 6 months ago maybe, that Jamie did, and Jillian Hill, who's part of our team as well. They did a mock three-way call at one of our Chicago trainings, and it's amazing. The verbiage is amazing, and it's a great thing to check out just to give you a feel for the process and how it goes. Also, if you guys get to the point where you're doing a three-way call and you're new to them, again, like I said before, there's no shame in having a script. When I first started doing three-way calls, I literally would have my whole BPPO out, and I would, now I'll do a three-way call when my kids are in the room and I could have 10 kids over, and I do it in the middle of it because I'm so used to it that you just kind of press play and you go. But for months when I first started doing them, I would tell my husband, okay, you got to get the kids. I'm going in the basement. I have my cheat sheet. I have my quiet area so I could focus and concentrate. We all have to start somewhere. So just have the materials you need to set you up for success when you do your first ones.
Yes, I just let go of my script, literally last month.
Yeah, it takes time. Oh gosh, it takes so much time.
I just can't reprint it because we moved, so now I can't find it. So I'm on my own.
You're like, there we go. I will tell you, I will never forget. We had a huge BBL in Chicago for Lindsay Williams. I don't know if you guys have seen that name. She's an RFX that's on our team as well. And when she started was pretty quickly after I decided to start working the business. And we went to her launch. It was the biggest launch I've ever been to. There were 40 people there for a BBL.
Oh my
and
God.
Jamie was running late, and I was like, I can't do this presentation. I'm totally unprepared. And Jamie ran in, she was late, and she was sweating and out of breath. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Is this going to be okay? Are you good to go? And she's like, girl, I'm good. She's like, I just press play and I'm there. And she didn't have to prep. She didn't have to do anything. She just went in and she was good to go. And I couldn't understand how that was possible until now, we're to that point too, where that's just what you do. But to get to that point of feeling really comfortable about sharing what this is, it takes practice over and over and over again. So as soon as you can, even if you're not totally comfortable, push yourself off the ledge, do these calls for your team, even if you need a script. The more you practice it, the better it's going to make you in your business. And really, anytime you can hop on a call and listen to one of the opportunity calls or any BizApp event or anything like that you can plug into and be at, the more you hear it over and over and over again, the better it makes you in presenting this to your prospects and to your teams on these calls.
True. Yep. And it's called empowering yourself.
It is.
All right. So I just had two more things really, I figured, first of all, we have an issue kind of with not selling the bigger kits lately, and so I'm trying to nip that in the bud on my team. And yeah. I'm wondering, Becca literally doesn't even sell anything other than $9.95. She's like a freaking rock star. So
I don't know about that, but I do go $9.95. Yes.
I didn't even know what was in the $6.95 when I talked to her. I'm like, I hate you right now.
I'm like, wait, what is in the new configuration? I can't remember to look it up.
So anyway, I just, she really explained it to me better, where it got me okay, we need to start understanding, especially with the kit reimbursement, we need to start selling that $9.95. And as we run for big goals, that volume added to our numbers is a big deal. So how do you present that? How do you kind of show the value and kind of the $3.95 is more geared towards the wholesale buyer. So, and that I thought was a kind of a cool thing. I've been doing that now on my calls, and it's
good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, first of all, if you're not sharing the $9.95 kit, you're the only person you're hurting is yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice because, first of all, you're not, I mean, granted, is everyone going to go $9.95? No, they're not going to. But you're doing your prospects a disservice by not doing that. And I will tell you, first and foremost, whatever you do in your business, however you share this with your prospects, it will duplicate down. This whole business is about smart duplication. Whatever kit you came in on, everybody you talk to is going to ask you what kit you started on. You're going to take them through the kits. You're going to say, well, how did you get started? So it's really important that from you, from the top of your organization, that you kind of set a standard, because that is going to be reflected throughout your team. And it might not seem like that big of a deal if you've got 3 people direct to you, or maybe you've got 10 people on your team, or whatever your situation may be. But, you know, we have, on our team now, I want to say we have probably close to 3,000. And when you look at how many people that is, people duplicating down a $3.95 kit, that many people versus a $9.95 kit, that has a huge significant impact in how your business grows and how it moves forward. And when you talk like about things like Lexus runs and things like that, which I know your team is quickly approaching on some amazing milestones, which is so exciting. You know, those things are going to help your team get to these huge, incredible goals, which is going to help that domino effect begin, because it is a domino effect. So for me, I always, $3.95, unless you're a face washer, is not an option. So if it sounds like you guys are selling a lot of the $6.95. And so if you're leading with that, if you lead with the $6.95 and tell them about the $9.95 after, people are always going to migrate back to what you led with. Okay. So for me, when people ask me about the different options, I always let them know that we have 3 different kit options to get started. The 2 most popular that our most successful consultants get started on is our $9.95 kit and our $6.95 kit. And I let them know that these 2 are the only time ever that you're going to get all of the products at a 50% discount. And so I let them know about the hefty discount. I also let them know that you're going to be obviously set up with success for either one. We're going to support you just the same, no matter where you come in. And I let them know that, you know, financially, that's a very personal choice. You have to do what's more comfortable to you. But if that extra $300 isn't stressful, the majority of our team likes to come in on the $9.95, so they have everything they need to set them up for success. And then I also let them know, you know, also, just so you know, we have a $3.95 kit as well. What this is called is a personal results kit. You're not going to get that hefty discount. You only get a handful of products. You know, I'll take them through what that is really quickly. And then I let them know that most people that get started with this kit are basically purchasing it because they want to be a wholesale buyer, so that they get their products at that wholesale discount. And so when I share it, that is almost like, hey, if you want to be a wholesale buyer, you just want the discount, that's a great way to go. But if you want to build your business, these 2 kits are going to be the one that does it. And then for me, when people ask me what I came in on, I can always tell them that I came in on the biggest kit available, because I knew with the 60-day empty bottle money back guarantee that I was either going to be returning a big something or a little something, but either way, you're returning something if you're not happy, and I wanted to be set up for success. So I think it's all in how you guys approach it. Always lead with those 2 bigger kits. Don't ever take the $9.95 out of the equation. You know, if anything, share with them all the extra products and the extra value and what that means that they're going to get from the $9.95. Getting that extra AMP system, you guys, is huge. So I always share that with them, and that full box of acute care. I let people know, hey, if you're going to use the AMP, if you're going to want an AMP for yourself and one to demo, which anyone that can use the AMP on their skin is going to want to do, let them know that they're going to be getting such a better deal to go for that bigger kit. It's going to save them money in the long run.
And the kit reimbursement, you know, I've really been leveraging that. Like, you know, you could potentially get $2,000 sent back to you, and all those products. So great. And then, you know, I know you came on with the bigger kit. What about people, you know, there have been a number of people that have come on with smaller options, and maybe we built a customized kit or done something like. Now what can they say now? Because if somebody asks them, I mean, should they say, well, I came on with that, or should they kind of like just say, I made a mistake? I mean, how do we combat that issue going forward?
So I'm huge on honesty. So whatever you came in on, don't be scared to tell them that. But if you came in on one of the smaller kits, and obviously speak your truth, whatever, I'm never going to tell you to say something that's not your truth. But for me, I would just say, hey, I came in on the $6.95, but to be honest, me being honest, I regret not coming in on the $9.95. I wish I would have, gone with the bigger kit because, and give them the reason. Say I ended up buying a full box of acute care because I couldn't wait to try it, and I really wanted my own amp and like whatever else, the extras are, kind of go through that. And you could say, and I actually ended up spending more money than I would have spent with that heavier discount going with the $9.95. Okay. And so I would just say I'm sharing that to you only because it's a regret of mine. But at the end of the day, you have to come in where you're most comfortable. I know finances are a very personal thing, so I never want to steer you one way or the other. I just wanted to share, my experience.
Okay, cool. That's kind of what we've been doing. All right, great. And then I think the last thing I want to talk about, we're kind of the, hold on just a second. Just like the saturation question that we get a lot, and like the opportunity. I think you do a good job of like getting us excited about what's to come, the new products that's coming out, Australia. I hear it a lot. Like just last night on a 3-way call we did, it was the saturation. Somebody who was in Forbes, I guess, was one of her girlfriends. The girl, I forget her name, Melissa or something. And she's like, oh, she's got 300 mutual friends with me. I really want to start, but she's already probably exhausted my whole network. Or I've got 5 people. I don't want to post on Facebook because it's so annoying. It's helpful to continue to be able to address this objection, because it's getting like, really, like, I know it's not an issue, but any other tips of how to get people excited and how to like tell them that's a silly excuse not to join is always helpful.
Sure. Love it. Okay, first of all, you guys, we are so undersaturated. It's ridiculous. It gets me like giddy to think about what's ahead. And so I'm, going to give you a few examples and kind of just going to break it down number-wise. But first of all, before I do that, when I look at my neighborhood, okay, when I look at what's happened, I've got Jamie, who's obviously had huge success. We have Melissa Whittle, who's a Lexus earner. She's amazing, Mel Whittle. She lives 2 houses down from me on the other side. I've got my next door neighbor, Stacy Raymond, who's a level 5, who's going to be in Lexus probably in the next few months. And then I've got my neighbor right across the street. Her name's Kelly Chapman. She'll be a level 5 probably by July. And so I look at my street, okay? My neighbors are super close. I was at Jamie's house like 10 minutes before we hopped on this call. They're all coming over after the call. We see each other all the time. We know what we're eating for dinner. Okay, these are my people, but none of them are on my team. Not a one of them. So you look at that, we're all these individual teams, except for Jamie. Obviously, we're all under Jamie. We're all these individual teams, and even though we have one network that we're so connected together, my one network is completely tapped out that I can't even touch. But we were all able to go build successful businesses based on all the other networks that we had. So you can't look at one person in one network having success and that and say that, sorry, can you guys hear that chiming?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to mute it. Tell me if you can still hear me.
Successful.
Speaking of my neighbors, they're actually
being me.
Okay. Anyways,
sign up with $9.95 kits.
They're like, I want a $9.95. Anyways, I look at that and I think about the fact that we've all had success, and so you need to think about that. You need to think about. Yes, you see people in your network on Facebook, but first of all these people that pop up on Facebook, how many are really working the business versus how many are getting a $150 paycheck and they have a few customers, just enough to cover their CRP so they get their products for free. We have, when you break down the numbers, you guys, and this is just a fact, we have 150,000 consultants, okay? And I know this has been all over Facebook, so you guys know this, but really just kind of breaking it down again, we have 150,000 consultants. Out of that number, I'd say probably 90, max 100,000 are actually working it, I mean, they're actually getting a paycheck. The rest are face washers, as we would call them. They signed up for the wholesale cost, they're not working the business. So you think about that, okay? So let's say 100,000 consultants working it in the entire country in Canada, all right? You look at Mary Kay, they have, what do they have, like 3 million. You look at Avon, they've got don't quote me on any of these numbers, by the way, but Avon, I'm pretty sure they have like 5.6 million. You look at Arbonne, I think is at 1.5 million. Think about that versus saturation, and they're still continuously building month after month after month. We will not be saturated in the slightest until we are in the millions, you guys. I mean, we have so much room for growth. It's crazy. Yes, there's areas like I'm from Naperville. If you come here, you know anyone from my high school, they know all about Rodan Fields because our high school has been inundated. But that's one little pocket. You maybe drive 20 minutes outside of Naperville and there are small towns that have never even heard of us. Do you know how many three-way calls I've been on with people in the past week where they've said they know one person on their Facebook feed that's doing this? We're in a three-way call today. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and mute this. And can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Except I can't hear you. So sorry about that. Anyways, so you think about that. There's so much room for growth everywhere. We just found this out and I posted it on the team page. So again, sorry for being repetitive. Chicagoland is the most unsaturated market by 6 times in the entire country. All right. And anyone that's from my town would say, oh my gosh, it's so saturated, I'm not even going to start it. But if you take those little pockets away and look at the bigger scale, there's so much room for growth, you guys. And at the end of the day, we will be a story like Mary Kay. We will be a story like Avon. You know, I know sometimes we don't want to put ourselves in that same bucket because we do business differently, but at the end of the day, they paved the way in this industry. We will get to those numbers that they're at. We won't be saturated until we do. And so somebody's going to take us from 100,000 consultants that are working it to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 million. So it's just a matter of who's going to build it. Okay. When you talk about looking at this business and thinking it's saturated, that again is just that white noise that I talked about getting in your way. Okay. Yes, you can look at it and say, I know 5 people who are doing this, it's saturated and I'm done. Or you could look at it and say, there's 100,000 consultants working it. We're going to be in the millions. Somebody's going to build my networks. I'm going to be the one that's going to do it. Okay. And it's not just about your network. You could share this with someone who has a network that's completely untapped. It's all about if you can just get a few people in your network and then they get a few people in each of their networks and so on and so forth. You know, the whole point is that you want to be building teams and sharing these products in cities and states and countries that you've never been to. So you have to think of the greater picture. Look at Australia, look at Asia, which is, you know, hopefully going to be next. We are going to be in well over 50 countries. That I can guarantee you. That all stems from us. Okay. It's all about who we know here and who they know. And so think about Australia, think about how huge that's going to be. When that's built, when that's actually saturated, there is going to be so much huge growth, and that's all going to stem from all of us here. So sometimes it's stepping back and looking at the bigger picture of what's ahead and not so much just looking at, you know, your one little area or your few little areas where you know people and the fact that there are some people doing it. So really think about that. And you guys, I have to tell you, just having some great insight into what's ahead in October, you guys, it's going to be so good. I can't even stand it. It's going to be so good. These doctors don't just launch a lip balm or a vanilla scented body lotion. We're going to come out with kiwi and vanilla or whatever. That's not their spiel. That's not what they do. They launch things that are game changing. I mean, look at our past 3 product launch. We launched Acute Care. We launched Amp Roller. I know it's gone, but we launched the Macro. These are things that shake the industry. These are things that really make people look at our company and where we're headed. And I can promise you, this next product will not disappoint. It has the power to double and triple your businesses if you leverage it correctly. All right. And I'm telling you, now is the time to build. I'm usually a no pressure mama, and hey, you do things on your time. I'm going to teach you what you need to do to be successful. But at the end of the day, everybody can work their business the way they see fit. It's all of our own businesses, right? But if you want to be successful in this business, I will tell you, when there is a new product launch that is of the magnitude that's what's coming in October, you want to take every day, every week, every hour that you have to build before that so that you can really capitalize on what's ahead. So this is where you want to be reaching out to your funnel, okay? You want to be diligent about your follow-ups. You want to be revisiting your list and doing those reach outs, focusing hard on recruiting and building your PC base, but especially recruiting, because the more people you have out there to share with what's coming, the bigger of an impact, the bigger of a boom you're going to feel in your business. And that's going to get you that much closer to where you want to be. So, I would just say, be really excited, you guys. This isn't fluff, oh, it's this great thing, and then it's not. It's really good. It's going to be a huge convention this year. Whether you're going to be there live or whether you're going to plug in virtually, it is going to be, I think, one for the record books. And I feel very, very confident in saying that this is going to be just a really exciting year ahead. I think you look at where you're at now, and then you see where you close in December, and oh my gosh, even a year from now, you won't believe it, you guys. And I've been tracking my numbers every single day for the past, oh gosh, I don't know, 3 years in my business, 2.5 years. And when I look back year over year and have continuously worked the business, it's really fun to see what can happen in this business in a year. I always tell people, don't measure sorry, I'm going to walk with you guys for a second because my computer's about to go dead. Don't measure your success by month over month growth. You're going to want to measure it by the growth that you're seeing year over year. And by leveraging what's ahead this month is really going to help you to do that. Or what's ahead in October. Sorry, guys.
Take us on a tour of your house. Hello.
What? Oh.
Let's look at her house. I'm living at my parents'
Oh, there's my phone chargers.
So I just want to see your house.
My charger somewhere around here. I'm going to find it, but we'll just walk around while we do it. All right, so what else you got for me?
Okay, so I think that's pretty much my questions. I think the one thing about, with reach outs, I feel like a lot of people are not reaching out about the business. Maybe they're scared, and I want them to reach out about the business, and get people recruiting, even from day one, go, don't be afraid and use those 3-way calls. But a lot of people go with the products first, and then they get themselves to be a PC queen, and they're not sure a year later how to start recruiting.
Sure.
So I don't know if you could just, for 1 minute, kind of touch on some advice of hey, I've been in this a year, but I don't have any business partners. Or I have been doing this for 6 months and 2 of my business partners quit, and I think I'm just going to be a PC person. And, you kind of stop reaching out about that. Why do that? Why go back to continuing to reach out about the business, invite to 3-way calls?
Okay. I will say this. It's all dependent on what you want this business to be. Okay. If it's okay if you just want this to be your little side cash and you just want to be the PC queen, because some people, that's where their heart is. So I think first and foremost, sit down with whoever brought you into the business or whoever you go to, for help and guidance, and really help figure out, what you want this to be for you. If you want this to be income replacing, if you want this to be a 6-figure income, if you want this to be a mortgage, things like that, that's based around building it. So I I think first and foremost is just getting that mindset in your head of, hey, this is what I want it to be. Because if you only want it to be that $300 a month so you can go, to J. Crew or whatever, then maybe that isn't your mindset. That's where I go. But I'll tell you guys, if you have big goals and big dreams, which I know so many of us do, you want to lead with the business. You want to be sharing the business while you're sharing the products. And at the end of the day, we all know we don't have a business without these products, okay? These products are our bread and butter. They're the reason we've had so much success. However, by building the business, it's your way to get the products into that many more people's hands. All right, so you think about that. You can share the products with your network and be this PC queen and get this great PC base. But while you do that, if you share this with 3 of your besties and they want to join you, and they share with 3 of their besties and they all want to join them, and so on and so forth, and then everyone's out there sharing product, your 20 PCs that you have could multiply to 400 PCs in your organization like that. And so you think about that. First of all, think about what that does for your paycheck and what that's going to do for your families or your bottom line or whatever you're running towards. But also think about how many people you're able to help, and think about how many lives you're able to change through this business. So really figure out where you want it to go. But if you want this to go big, you guys want to focus on recruiting. If you're always leading with the products, and I'm not saying don't sell the products, because again, we don't have business without them. But if you're not leading with the business, or at least sharing the business right off the bat, things are going to move a lot slower. Okay. So for me, I saw what Jamie built, and I knew that I was in this to make it something just life-changing for our family. And I knew the possibilities. I knew we started at a great time. I knew we knew a lot of people. And so my mindset was on the big prize. However, if that's not your mindset, that's okay. But so for me, yes, I have PCs. Yes, in the beginning especially, I shared the products like crazy because I just wanted to, touch anybody I could and build up my business, build up my clientele. But now that we're a little bit deeper in, for me, it's all about the business. I lead with the business. I want to help the team grow. I want to build business partners. I want to teach them how to bring on PCs and things like that. But I want to build the business and build them to have success and to duplicate down. Because at the end of the day, when you are bringing on these business partners, you want to make sure you're giving them the proper training so that everything that you're teaching them is then going to duplicate down throughout your organization, which is going to create a successful business for everybody.
And I think for me, it's almost like when that person does become a consultant, they're adding to your numbers on a monthly basis versus a 60 to 90 to PCs tend to delay. Sometimes they can be annoying. They're a lot, sometimes they can be needy. And also, the level of attrition. If the next best thing comes and I get that email that's, hey, a PC canceled. And I'm like, how did that happen? Whereas a consultant, if they have an org underneath them, they're going to be a little bit more invested and loyal to the product. So I feel like it just has that security to your business that's not as hard to keep replacing those PCs. Not that I have to replace a lot. I actually think I do well at not getting them to cancel, but I feel like it's just a more secure business, and because we are growing, and if their sister joins, oh, my sister joined, you've been great, but I'm going to buy from her, when you could have said, hey, would you do the business? And then that sister would have joined her, before that happened. So always, if you do get PCs, I say always pitch the business if they're loving the products, find out if they're loving it and pitch the business, because that's your best lead. So
exactly. You always want to give people the opportunity, because I can tell you guys, if you do not give your people the opportunity, somebody else will. I literally just had this situation pop up today with 2 of my directs, who also happen to be 2 of my best friends from high school. And I won't name names, but one of them has a PC that, was thinking about, she had been a loyal PC, but she was thinking about the business. And her consultant hadn't really talked to her about the business because she didn't think that it was for her because she's so busy and she's got so much going on, yada, yada, yada. Well, then another one of my directs had been talking to her about the business for a year and a half, inviting her to things, not knowing that she was a customer for another person. And now the girl wants to join, and it's this situation. And these things happen, you guys, all the time. I personally have lost people to other people because maybe my follow-up with them got, 10 things piled up on top, and I forgot, or I wasn't diligent about it, or whatever. So be on top of your people. If you want this to be big, don't let anybody slip through the cracks, because I see it happen all the time. And like I said, it's personally happened to me. So make sure you're on top of your people. If you want to build this and you really want to make this into something, make sure that your networks are hearing it from you first. So don't be scared to share the business with your PCs. Don't be scared to share it with someone that you think might just be good for the products, because you never know who it's going to be a good fit for. I'll tell you guys, 90% of my direct team, I never in a million trillion years would have thought would have been doing this business. And they never thought they would have been doing it, just like me. So, again, it goes back to that. Don't discount everyone. This is a gift. I feel like it sounds cheesy when I say this, but it's just my truth. This business is a gift. It can change people's lives. These products are a gift. They can change their skin, help them to walk through life more confidently, with heads held up high. When we look good, we're more confident in life in general. We feel good about ourselves, right? So I think, it's really important to know that you're sharing that gift and that opportunity with everybody you know. Because if it's not for them now, it might be a good fit for them down the road.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that's all my questions. If anybody else has just, I don't know if you have time for like one or two more.
I'm totally good. My hubby's got the kids. I'm good.
Yep. Anybody else got something they want to throw at Becca Oleary tonight?
Anything at all.
Heidi, I know you have a question. She's like, no, I don't.
Well, I'm like trying to think of one. I just wanted to.
She's got 10.
I feel like you covered everything, so I was taking notes. I'll keep thinking. But thank you for everything. I was taking notes the whole time. A lot of good information. I really appreciate taking the time to talk with all of us. So.
Oh my gosh! Of course, you're so sweet. Like to actually, I know we've talked on the phone, but
yeah,
to see you in person, love Zoom.
It's pretty awesome. We like it. My husband, I told him to get me the Zoom or whatever, and he ended up getting the huge package. It cost us like $200 or something. He's like, oh, you clicked the wrong thing. Oh yeah. So now we have Zoom access for years. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. You're zooming it up every time.
All the time, because I spent my whole, $200 on this. I'm like, we're using it. We're using it. I don't care how bad it works. We're going to be leveraging Zoom.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. If you guys don't have any questions, know that I'm always here to help. I love connecting with you guys. It's been so much fun, and don't ever hesitate to reach out. And I would love to, should definitely in the coming months do another one of these, and we can revisit any topics you guys want to go over, or, just continuously compile lists of struggles and things like that. And I'm always happy to go over anything that you need.
Awesome. Can we do one more, everybody smiles? Social media. Everybody. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I'm so lame. I'm sorry.
You are so cute. I love it. I love it.
Thanks, Becca. You are awesome. So.
Oh, you guys are awesome. And hey, I'm so excited for you guys. Your team is just on fire. You guys are doing incredible things together, and that's going to take you guys big places. So congrats to you guys, and hopefully we'll all talk soon.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, you guys.
Bye.